in Iraq, part of the problem that we're dealing with today is that we left too soon?
I certainly think in hindsight, there is a view that if we'd left some number of forces there, that this wouldn't have happened. I'm not completely, I can't be completely certain of that. Maliki, who we handpicked, by the way, Maliki is a very, very tough character, and he is very, very sectarian and a very difficult guy to deal with.
You've had personal dealings?
Yes.
Tell us about them a little bit.
Huh?
Tell us about them a little bit.
He's a very hard guy to deal with.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put Maliki?
He's right up there.
He's right up there.
Right up there. And it doesn't get better in time.
Karzai? Karzai worse?
Karzai is about the same. I mean, these are two pretty difficult individuals to deal with, who we had a lot to do with being put in place.
Because we have a surprise. We have them backstage, and we're going to bring them. We're going to let you interview them.
But when I think, and this is a Western view, something I've learned, when I think about, let's say, Maliki and Karzai, one of the things I learned in these wars is Westerners don't have a clue about what it means to wake up every single day in one of these countries and think about one thing, which is how I live through the day. The Middle East is about survival. And for us, and I'm not saying, because that's not a thought that has entered our head in the countries in which we live. And I'm not criticizing us for that, but I think we have to have that understanding as we approach somebody like Karzai. Believe me, Karzai's mental image is the picture of Najibullah hanging from a lamppost in Afghanistan after he left office many years ago. He does not want to repeat that situation. Maliki is a survivor, obviously, came from a very small party, and he will do everything he can to survive. So that's got to just be integrated into our approach on how we support them. And I still think in the end that you can make a huge difference in these countries, as hard as it is, if you can have an economic input. We talked briefly just before this about a good friend, although I didn't know him early, in Dick Holbrooke. And Holbrooke, I got to know him in Afghanistan in particular. Holbrooke and I were very much in sync in how do you impact the development, economic development issues inside Afghanistan. And you don't have to raise Afghanistan's economy, which is one of the worst in the world, very much to have them think and have an impact on the citizens, on the 30 million plus citizens in that country, which was once a rich, fertile ground for agriculture. You can't, and then one other part, particularly in Afghanistan, just because I think I like to talk a little about lessons learned. We're awful in America about lessons learned. We're forward thinking, we just move on. And we really need to study and catalog and categorize the lessons from the last 12 years. And if we're not, if leaders don't force this, we will forget those that, in fact, we should remember as we move forward in the world. And a big one, and it's resident in both these countries, but particularly Afghanistan, is the whole issue of corruption. The way we approach corruption in the future cannot be as we have done it in the past. And the Afghan people know that Karzai's government is extraordinarily corrupt. We show up to say to the Afghan people, we're here to help. They look at us and say, are you kidding me? You're supporting this group who's absolutely stripping us bare, and we're supposed to think you're here for us. Because the issue of corruption is so much more visible and so much and more transparent in the information age in which we exist. I'm not saying we need to, I'm not naive enough to think we can do away with all corruption, but it must be a part of our calculus. When Nigeria popped the other day with this hostage taking, these young girls, one of the one-liners in one of the stories was, and oh, by the way, there's $20 billion missing that's gone out of the oil business somewhere inside this government. And Nigeria is an important ally, an important friend, obviously important in the energy world as well. I just think we've got to approach it differently than we have in the past.